So why do you think your employer asked you to take this training? You're taking the push training because your employer wants you to know what a big deal safety on the job is. Staying safe at work ensures that you make it through the day, so you can do the things you want to do, like spend your hard-earned paycheck. Let's look back in time to look at some historical examples of workplace safety and health. I'll read a statement, you try to guess if it is true or false. True or false? History's first recorded labor protests or strikes were organized by the ancient Egyptians in the 12th century BC. True. Even though the pharaoh, their boss, was regarded as a living god, workers were not afraid to protest working conditions. When they did not get paid for their work, they refused to leave the temple until the pharaoh paid them. True or false? In England, during the 17 to 1800s, kids as young as 4 years old were hired to clean chimneys. True. Small boys between the ages of 4 and 10 would crawl up the chimney, brushing and scraping away soot as they went. Many didn't like the task, but some employers would encourage them to keep working by prodding them with a stick to keep them moving up the chimney. In other cases, employers would light a small fire under the kids to encourage them to move faster. That's where we get the saying, light a fire under you. Today, there are restrictions on the type of work people under 14 can do. True or false? In the early 1800s, children that worked in the coal mines were given lots of healthy foods to keep their energy up for the challenging work. False. Kids that worked in the coal mines had a very limited diet that consisted of bread and potatoes. Oftentimes, they suffered from nutritional diseases and were not fed enough to do manual labor safely. Your diet is tied to performance at work, which means if you don't eat enough healthy foods to keep your brain and body going, you become a hazard on the job. Try snacking on fruits and vegetables, nuts, and whole grains, which will give you energy throughout your workday. True or false? In the early 1900s, the Radium Girls were a group of women who painted watch dials with radioactive material so the watches would glow in the dark. True. When they painted the dials, the Radium Girls used their mouths to shape the brushes into a fine point. This meant they ingested radioactive material, which made them sick. Although the owners of the watch company were aware radium was dangerous, and they used masks and tongs to handle the substance, they did not tell the workers about the deadly hazard, the stinkers. Today, all employers are required to tell employees about hazards in their workplace and to provide employees with proper training and equipment to keep them safe. True or false? In the 1930s, construction workers building the Golden Gate Bridge were the first bridge workers to use hard hats and safety lines to keep them safe on the job. False. Although the Golden Gate Bridge was not the first major construction project to feature hard hats and safety lines, it was the first project that enforced these safety precautions with the threat of dismissal. Today, employers are required to provide personal protective equipment, otherwise known as PPE, for hazardous tasks. True or false? Worker rights for those under the age of 25 have come a long way. In fact, because of policies to protect younger workers, these days, injuries are relatively uncommon. False. Although there are policies to protect young workers, injuries are still a very common problem. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, today a young worker is injured on the job approximately every 45 seconds. OMG. True or false? Today's young workers are more affected by lack of sleep than older workers. True. Young people need more sleep and should get between 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. Unfortunately, many people don't get enough sleep, which makes them sleepy during the day. Being tired makes you less alert, more likely to have an accident, and makes it harder to cope with pressure from school, work, family, and friends. Get the right amount of sleep to feel great. I hope you've enjoyed this journey through the history of young worker safety and health. In the rest of the training, we'll learn ways that you can keep yourself safe and healthy on the job. Thanks for watching.